What's up? I'm actually I'm really excited to do this podcast today because more so I've had a lot on my mind. I just got done making some content for YouTube. I feel a little bit better this week. I know the last podcast was a little bit more morbid. I didn't do the intro today because I'm trying to just dive right into it. Today is a content day, but also a meeting day. So I have a meeting at 2:00 with the podcast crew that I'm doing the podcast for tomorrow with Charlotte FC's Brant Bronico. Pretty cool. Then after that, I have a follow-up meeting with someone I sent a podcast to about 2 months ago when I first moved to Charlotte. And I don't really know. But really what I wanted to talk about is opportunity. Now, opportunity, it's one of those things that you can look at in multiple lenses. Like, I think opportunity is obviously a chance or something that comes your way that you can jump on, and there'll be consequences, positive or negative, right? This guy called me up and was like, hey, I run an e-commerce business. I've been running it since college. This was 19 years ago, so he's a little bit of an older guy. But he said, a couple things stood out for me. He could tell I was young, passionate, hungry for things, and I don't let things come to me. I take initiative and stuff like that. So he was hyping me up in that sense. So I was like, okay, this is the first time other entrepreneur has called me out of the blue that I don't really have connections towards. Like, I filmed this podcast. He was on a podcast with another host. I was a producer. And it just so happened that he was cleaning out his contact forms on his phone, and he saw me and was like, I'm going to give this guy a call. And he called me, and that's kind of how we got that set up. So opportunities like that, they just come and go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do you jump on every opportunity or do you not jump on every opportunity? I think I'm getting to the point now where I'm not jumping on every single opportunity, but I'm strategically taking into consideration, what could this opportunity provide for me? And sometimes, I feel bad because sometimes I want to help people and, really want to put myself out there and just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to help you. But a good mentor of mine told me sometimes, helping people it's going to put you in a bad spot. It's going to put them in a good spot, but puts you in a bad spot. So you almost have to be a little bit selfish here and there. And it sucks. My dad, he raised me in a way to to always lend a hand, always help people. And that's fine. But I think when it comes to business, you got to be careful because there's a lot of, overhead when it comes to different things. Gas is expensive, production is expensive, my time is valuable. Like, there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. You almost have to put that emotional, that emotional side of things to the side, because it's like you don't want to put yourself in a bad position, because a lot of people are already doing that. And it's just, you have to play the game too. So this is professionally, by the way. I'm not talking personally. Personally, that's a whole nother story that I don't really want to get into, but more so with yourself. Like, business-wise, in yourself, you have to be prepared to say no. And I think Hormozy talks about this, and Gary Vee, I think I've heard talk about it a couple of times too, where he's like, saying no is oftentimes harder than saying yes, right? And that's just with everything in life, with the gym, with eating right, saying no to do certain things that are negative towards you. Like, it's hard. So when these opportunities, they come, it's like, do I say yes? I probably should not say yes. I probably, need to take some time to myself, take care of this, and that. So it's one of those things that I've personally been in a situation where I said yes to a couple things, and it did end up messing up some of my life, in a sense of I was dedicating too much time to this thing with these people, and I wasn't getting paid, number one. And number two, I was dedicating way too much time. Granted, the situation I was in was I just moved to Charlotte, and I needed to take care and get to know new people. So that was what I was trading. I didn't get paid, but I was trading that, that time, that production value, all those different things in exchange for exposure. Now, that's good initially, I think. I think the exposure is good. I got in the pool. I met some new people, started talking to different people. I also started taking care of the main thing that I was kind of here for. So I think that's kind of an anomaly when it comes to figuring out, like, what opportunities you should or you shouldn't jump on. It's more so like, hey, I figured out that this opportunity was decent enough to work to what I need to right now, but bigger picture, how is this going to actually help? And that was the thing that, that kind of stood out for me. It's like, how is this going to help down the line? It's down the line, micro versus macro, right? Gary Vee says that. It's like, in the now, this can help me, but I know this will help me down the line. So you have to almost pivot out and really understand kind of what that is. So I kind of like this dynamic. Like, I kind of like giving advice, but also I want to do it in a way where I'm talking about my story. So kind of like what I was doing when I was writing in my journal, where I'm doing that third person kind of deal where I talk about my story and then we kind of loop it back, but we're narrating it almost. So it's kind of like when I started out as an entrepreneur, the biggest thing I heard was, your network is your net worth. And your net worth is your network. Well, I guess either or, it makes sense, right? So my dad was always a natural networker. He's a talker. I'm a talker. Every time we went out, whether it was to a restaurant, golfing, to the gym, to play racquetball, he would always talk to someone. And it used to piss me off as a kid because I'm like, dude, come on, we're here. Why aren't you giving me attention? And over time, I started to realize, man, he can just talk to anyone. And I started, that barrier of talking to people came down very, very low. I feel like I can go out, I can literally talk to anyone. I've been told I can talk to a rock. I think I've already said that a couple of times. But point is, it's I understand that talking to people can lead you anywhere. And I met this awesome individual here in Charlotte, Bree Blair, and she mentioned to me, she was like, hey, you have to build off your relationships. Relationships will take you longer, or take you further, I should say. And I agree with that. However, it's one of those things where it's easy to get stuck in this trap of, scratching each other's back and not getting paid for it. And I think the money aspect is important. I think respectfully, if you're getting a service that is worth a lot of money, hey, that's cool. And, and this isn't a dig at anyone I've worked with already, but it's more so it's me understanding for myself that, hey, I will go ahead and probably take care of a couple of things in front of us, but I'm not going to go long-term because I'm losing money on this deal, and I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of people that I've talked to realize that this is my main source of income. So it's one thing to have it on the side and then do it and help. And then it's one thing to hey, this is how I make money and I'm doing the thing that is supposed to bring me the money. I'm not making it money. That's fucked up. And that's just the name of the game. That's business, and I'm still learning that. I'm not sitting here and, ruling with an iron fist and saying, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. But is that opportunity that comes, the opportunities that do come my way. It's ooh, I could hop on this. Oh, I could do this. I could help this person. I could do this. It's just, big picture wise for JMC, I want to have a department where, I dedicate certain funds to take care of stuff like that. We're hey, we're having an event. We would love to have a podcast here. I'm like, you know what, Jeremy, go. I got you. I'll compensate you. We'll take care of it, whatever. Or an internship program where it's hey, we have interns coming in. We have all this gear. You need to learn experience. They need help. Boom, kind of bridge the gap there. And, that's kind of what I did starting out. Well, and here's the final remark before we close out this episode. The final remark is understanding what season you're in and then kind of taking advantage of that. So Hormozy talks about this learning versus earning, right? So I was in that learning phase, learning the production, learning how to use this thing, how to use this thing, how to use this thing, use the lights and all that different things. Well, the podcast idea, the mobile podcast idea was something that I had in my head for a very long time. I had in my head for a long time, and I wanted to test it and see if it made sense. And I did it 3 times. I did it at 3 separate events, and I got to the point where I was like, you know what, this is cool. I definitely would do it again, but I have to do it with a different, approach. I definitely have to charge for it because it's a lot of work. Production wise, there's a couple of things I needed to take care of. For example, it's cool to have a podcast at a live event. You can hear it's not that it's not that bad in the headphones. It's super cool. It's very attractive. It's a very good marketing tool for JMC. But I'm also I love the quality. And, people kept knocking into the cameras, into the lights. There was drinks. So it was kind of dangerous. And then also just editing after this was miserable because you had to line up the footage. You had to line up the audio. You had to make sure the color was good. And then depending where, it was just a shit show. And then like people couldn't hear what was happening on the podcast. So I think what I would love to do is have a live podcast and have it like a show or something. That's something I'm going to text Brie Blair about because actually we had an idea. So let's see. Hey, exclamation point. And I want to do that. So I want to do like a live podcast or something like that. So anyways, jumped around a little bit, but we're just trying to get consistent. Josh Foreman's playing around. Just trying to get consistent with posting content. I posted a short on kind of like what this setup looks like. And yeah, so we'll catch you guys on the next one. I kind of want to do another episode soon. I'm still trying to find a theme. So like I said, right now we're working on consistency. And if people start watching, great. People are watching, great. But like I said, consistency. So we're trying to keep these under 15 minutes because I respect all you guys' time.